Hey guys, welcome back to another Fibers in the Wind tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do my brand new pattern, the Hippy Dippy Boho Bag. So I thought before we get started, I would just show you what the bag looks like and just how gorgeous this bag really is. Here we go. This is my brand new Hippy Dippy Boho Bag. If learning how to crochet this bag interests you, stick around and we will show you how to make this bag. It's not too complicated and I really think that you're going to love it. So let's just get started and get straight into this. This tutorial we're going to be using these two skeins of yarn put together in I 5.5mm crochet hook. You can use any medium for yarn that you like. For this pattern I'm using cotton. We are going to be using Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton in the print Brights. It is very beautiful. We're going to be putting two together. You don't have to if you don't want to, but that's just what I'm doing for this pattern here. So we are going to start off by putting these on the floor so that they can just roll around, and we are going to be making a magic circle. So to make a magic circle, you're going to want to lay your yarn across your hand like this. You can see I've got the tail end down here, and you're going to want to take the working end of your yarn, wrap it around these two fingers here, and cross it. So they need to be crossed like this. Then you're going to stick your hook in here, grab your yarn, twist, and turn. And then what you're going to do from there on out is you are going to take your yarn and you are going to chain up one, and that gives you a circle. But what you are going to need to do now is actually flip your circle over, because you want your tail end to be positioned where it was in the beginning, because you have to crochet over that tail end. So for this piece, we are going to be making 10 single crochets in the magic circle. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then I will meet you back after we have done all 10 single crochets. Also, I did want to mention, this is not a tutorial to teach you how to crochet. So if you do not know how to crochet, I recommend going and learning how to do that first before we skip to the next part. So do 10 single crochet in your magic circle, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so we are done with almost done with what I'm going to be considering the first round. The first round of this particular pattern is going to start with the magic ring. I know some patterns don't consider that the first round, but for the sake of this tutorial I am. So this is what it should look like. You should have 10 single crochets, and this is why we crocheted over this tail, because now you're just going to pull this tail completely tight, and then that, for the most part, is going to close up your circle. You can also readjust it and tighten it as need be going along, because sometimes it can come kind of loose. You can also leave it a little bit looser if you'd prefer, and then tighten it later. It totally is up to you. Okay, so we have finished this first round. We are going to be alternating our rounds, one round of single, one round of half double, one round of single, but we are actually going to be working another single crochet round into this starting. So we are going to be working 2 single crochets into the back loop of every stitch. So that's what we're going to do now. So you start out with 10 stitches, and then I believe you should end up with 20. So do that, and also make sure that you take a stitch marker and you place it in the first stitch of your round. I'm going to be grabbing this one, so we'll be doing that one. Don't mind my notions container, it's kind of loud when it comes to unscrewing it and screwing it back in. So we are going to be starting this with a round of single. Even though I am technically counting this as the first round, we're just going to say that the first 2 rounds are single. Oops. So we got our first stitch of the round in. We are going to be making one more in that same stitch. So go ahead and place 2 single crochets in the back loop only of every single stitch until you get to the end. Side note, because this is only the second round and you did the magic circle and pulled it tight, your first round is going to be pretty dang tight, but then after you work this first round, it's not going to be super tight. So go ahead and do that, and then once you get down to the end and you finish round 2, I will show you what's next. Okay, so we have finished round 2. We did our base round, which was 10 single crochets in the magic loop, and then our first official round of the pattern repeat, which was 2 single crochets in every single stitch. So we are just going to be taking out our stitch marker, and we'll put that back in a second. This is where we're going to switch to our half double crochet round. So put 1 half double crochet into the back loop only of this first stitch. And then we will be taking our stitch marker and we will be placing it back in the same spot where it was before. So for this round, it is going to be another increase round. The last round we increased every single stitch, so this round we need to increase every other. And for this pattern throughout, we will never be placing a single crochet increase or a half double crochet increase inside of the first stitch. The first stitch of the round will never be getting an increase, and the last stitch of the round will always be getting an increase for the pattern throughout. So I just thought I would share that with you now. So we got our half double in the first. The second one is going to be getting no increase, and the third one is going to be getting our increase, which is 2 half double crochets in the stitch. So no increase, increase, no increase, increase. So we just did our increase, so the next one is going to be no increase, and then the next one will be our increase again. So again, we're doing this in half double crochets in the back loop only. So go ahead and work an increase in every other stitch all the way around until you get to the end, making sure that your last stitch of the round has an increase. And then we will be done with round 3. Okay, so we are finished with round 3. I already took my stitch marker out because we are about to be starting round 4. So to do that, because we just did a half double crochet round, we'll be placing 1 single crochet into the first stitch of the round, and then you'll want to take your hook out and put your stitch marker back in. These stitch markers are great. Let me know in the comments below if you have a set of these stitch markers. They're like all rainbow colored and they're fun. Also, I did want to make sure to let you know that the way you can check your math is right is if you are placing 1 increase at the end of every round. Every increase round is going to get an increase at the end of the round, and you'll never be placing an increase in the first stitch of the round. So as long as that works out, then your math is totally correct for the pattern. Okay, so we are going to be doing 1 single crochet in the first stitch in the back loop only, and then we are going to be placing another single crochet in the back loop only of the next stitch, and then we will be placing a single crochet increase into that third stitch right here. So it's 1, 2 stitches that are just regular, singles, and then the third one is going to be an increase. And I don't know if you can tell, but here is our increase cluster from the round below, and you're going to be always placing your increase into the second stitch of the increase cluster for every single round going around. So the repeat for this round is going to be 2 regular single crochets, 1 increase, 2 regular single crochets, 1 increase, making sure you don't put an increase in the first stitch of the round, but you do put an increase in the last stitch of the round. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back when we are done with this round. Okay, so we are about to be starting round 5, which is a round of half double crochets. And for this round, we are going to be placing 1 half double crochet into the first stitch of the round. Don't forget to put your stitch marker back in your stitch so you don't forget where the beginning of your round is. Okay, we did that. And then you're going to be placing another half double crochet into the next stitch. That would be the second stitch of the round, and then another half double crochet into the third stitch of the round. And I did want to mention that every single pattern repeat round is going to be in the back loop only, even if I do not explicitly say so. I just thought I would mention that to you now. So we have 1, 2, 3 stitches of half doubles in the back loop only, and into the fourth is where we'll be placing our increase for the increase pattern repeat. So for this, you'll make sure that you're placing your increase into the second stitch of your increase cluster, and you're going to be repeating that all the way around, making 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and then placing 1 increase into the fourth stitch. So go ahead and do that, and then we will be on to the next round. So we have completely finished this round. This is what it's looking like. We're taking the stitch marker out of the first stitch of this next round, placing it over here. The next round is going to be getting 1 single crochet into the first stitch. And I did forget to mention, and I didn't show this time, that the last stitch of the prior round did get 2 stitches, so 2 half double. So we placed our first single crochet in the first stitch of this next round. We're going to be placing 1 single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, so that's 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, that's 3 stitches, 1 single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch. That's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the 5th stitch, which puts you in the 2nd stitch of that increased cluster, is where you are going to be working your single crochet increase by putting 2 in there. So we're going to be doing 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then an increase in the 5th, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So let's just do that, and then I will meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so we are about to finish the round. I just have to place 1 more single crochet in this final stitch, just to basically make it my 2 single crochets. So we have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rounds is what we have totally done. It is just looking so gorgeous, so beautiful, and I definitely do want to show you what a finished panel is going to be looking like, so let me do that. So this is what the front panel is looking like. It's going to be identical to the back panel, and this pattern is really great because you can just follow the mathematical increase repeat to make it larger. You can stop earlier to make it smaller. It's really, really basic and really, really beautiful. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to show you how we continue on with the pattern. And then after that, I will show you how to seam it all together. And you will have a beautiful bag that you can make in any size that you wish. Okay, so I already took out my stitch marker for this round. We are going to be doing a half double crochet round because we just finished a single crochet round. We're going to be following this pattern throughout the whole entire project. If you look at the increase cluster, there's 2 stitches. You're always going to be placing your increase into the 2nd stitch of the cluster, never the first one. So you can place a stitch marker there to help you identify it. That way you don't always have to count. And as long as you place it, your increase in that 2nd stitch of every cluster in every round, you'll always end with an increase or 2 stitches in the same space for the very last stitch of your round. So we're going to be making our first stitch in the round, which is 1 half double in the first stitch. We're going to be placing our stitch marker back there into the space so that we know where the beginning and end of our round is. And then we're going to be doing another half double. That makes 2 so far. Another half double. That makes 3 so far. Another half double. That makes 4. Another half double, which currently makes 5, and that puts us so far into the first stitch of our increase cluster. And then the next one, which would be our 6th stitch of the round, which will place us in our 2nd stitch of the increase cluster, and that's where we are going to be placing our increase. So we are going to be placing 1 half double crochet in the next 5 stitches and then a half double crochet increase in the 6th stitch and repeating that all the way around until you get to the last stitch of your round, which is going to be worked as an increase, which will be 2 stitches. Okay, so for this round we're going to be following the numerical increase repeat. So we're going to be placing 1 single crochet in the back loop of the next 6 stitches and then placing an increase in the 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I placed my increase, and you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches, an increase in the 7th. Repeat that all the way till you get to the end, placing 1 increase in your final stitch, and that should always put your increases in the 2nd stitch of the increase cluster that I've been telling you about, and you're just going to follow this numerical order. So for the next round, it'll be 1 stitch in each of the next 7 stitches, and then an increase in the 8th. So you're placing your increase 1 stitch over every round. So that's how you're going to follow it, and you're just going to keep doing that until you have 10 rounds of the pattern repeat, or larger if you want larger, and then I will show you how to finish off the front panel, and then we will go ahead and seam this together and make straps and have a beautiful bag. Okay, so we have finished our rounds for the pattern repeat. We are almost finished completing this panel, and we have been using the I5.5mm. That's the one that we've been doing for both of the panels. Let me show you what the other panel is looking like. This is what the other panel is looking like. It doesn't matter which panel you decide to be the front or the back because they're identically going to be the same. And you won't be able to know the difference. So we are just going to finish off this panel to get it to look the same, but they're basically the same. This one is just a tiny bit smaller, and you'll finish it off to be the same size as the smaller one in just a second. And the reason I mentioned that we were using this particular hook size is because we are actually going to move that one out of the way, and we are going to be using our Clover 4mm crochet hook, and we are going to be taking out our stitch marker. And this part is very, very simple if I can just get the hook to go through the yarn. So now that we're done, we are going to just be making 1 single crochet with our smaller hook size in every single stitch. So that is what we are going to be doing. 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around, this time going through the entire stitch, not the back loop only. This is the only round where you are going through the entirety of the whole stitch instead of just the back loop that we were doing previously. And depending on how many rounds of this pattern repeat you do, you should most likely end on a half double crochet round, but if you end on a single crochet round, that is totally fine. Also, I did want to mention we're about to seam it together and make straps, and we still have this much from each of these skeins, and the skeins are only 3 ounces, so they're not super huge. So if you just have 2 skeins, you will most likely be able to finish this bag. I would definitely recommend buying 4 just in case. I have 4 just because that's how many I bought. But I think that we're probably not even going to use all this, so that's exciting. So go around placing 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around, and then I will meet you back and show you how to seam this together, make the straps, and then add any other fun details that we'll be placing on this pattern. Okay, so we have our 2 pieces of our project here for the bag. What we're going to be doing for the next part is we're going to be placing them on top of each other, insides facing inside, outsides facing outside. You're going to be putting 1 stitch marker right before the last stitch that you finished on the finishing round of this panel, and then you're going to count 32 stitches over and place another stitch marker going through both of the pieces. And then now what you're going to actually do is you're going to undo the last stitch that you did. You're going to stick it back in, and you're going to go through to the other side of your piece, and that's where you are going to connect your piece. So you're just going to be placing one single crochet all the way around, going through both of the stitches on each side, lining them up until you get to your stitch marker on the other side. And then once you get to your other stitch marker, then we are going to come back and we are going to show you how to do the straps and then any fun finishing touches and finishing details to make this design super fancy. So I am using my 4mm crochet hook just because it does match the size hook that we used for the finishing round. If you want it to be bigger though, you can go back and use your 5.5mm, but I'm just going to use that for this. So this is what it's looking like. The seam on the outside looks really good. You're going to go all the way around until you get to this marker here, and then I will meet you back and I will show you what the next steps will be for making the strap. Okay, so this is what your project is looking like. You can see here the crochet, single crochet seam that I made. If it's too bunched up for your liking, you could just go ahead, oops, move that out of the way, and use your 5mm hook that you used for this project. But I chose to use the smaller one. For this, we did 27 stitches unworked for the opening because 32 was too much. So what we're going to do is be placing one single crochet on the front panel until we get to the end here, and then I will show you what we are going to be doing after that. So just place one single crochet going across just the front panel of your piece. I will meet you back when we get to the end and I will show you what we are going to be doing once we get to this side over here. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. We are at the end. You have this stitch here and then this stitch here where it was connected. You will not be working in this stitch, but you will be placing your last stitch into here, and it just looks a little awkward, so I just thought I would mention that because it kind of pulls weird. So you're just going to make sure that you have this last stitch kind of tight, and then what you are then going to be doing is skipping over this hole here, and then you are going to be placing a single crochet in the next available stitch on the opposite side, and then you're just going to be placing one single crochet all the way across the back side until you get to the end, and then I will be showing you how to finish this piece on the back side. So do that and then I will meet you back. Okay, so we're back at the other side of our project. I wanted to show you that these are the seam stitches, and when we connect it to the other side, I don't want to have you accidentally be crocheting into the seam stitches. So we are not going to be working into this stitch right here. This is what the back side looks like. Skip that one, which from the front side looks like this stitch right here, this one. So we are not going to be working into this one, but we will be working into this one right here. So stick your hook in there and you're going to be working one slip stitch into that stitch. You are not going to be single crocheting, we're going to be slip stitching. From here we're going to work the straps. I'm about 5'2", so I want to make this crossbody. It is one single strap. I'm going to be chaining roughly about 160 chains. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have done 8 chains so far. I'm going to be doing about 160 chains. When you're done, you are going to slip stitch your piece to this stitch right here on the other side, and then once you do that, then you are going to be putting one slip stitch in each of all 160 chains till you get down to here. I will kind of show you that when we get to it. And you can make it longer if you need it. If you're taller, you can make it a shorter strap if you're shorter. Anyways, I will meet you back when we are about to go back across the row of chains. So I'll meet you back when you have your 160 chains completed, or however many chains that you did for your strap. Okay, so this is what the finished bag is looking like. We have the opening. You can also crochet a closure on there if you want to. You have the straps. I'm going to be making some tassels, so grab a cardboard. You can make the tassels on your hand. I will not be showing you how to make tassels in this video, but you're just going to make 1, 2, or 4 tassels, however many you want, and then attach them right here to the sides of each of your straps. So once you got the tassels made and you've gotten them attached to the sides of your straps, then we will be completely done with our bag, and we will show you what the finished product is looking like. Here is the finished bag. I just went ahead and made 1 tassel. You can do 2 tassels on each side, 1 tassel on each side, or just 1 tassel on a singular side. That is what I went and decided to do, is just do 1 tassel on one side. This is what the bag is looking like. If you like this tutorial and you like this kind of content, don't forget to like the video, turn on post notifications, and subscribe. And I really just want to say thank you guys for sticking around and watching the tutorial for how to make my brand new Hippy Dippy Boho Bag. So if you like this kind of content, stay tuned, because there's going to be more content like this coming soon in the future.